Hello and welcome to tonight's opening volleyball matchup for your Platteville Hillmen. Tonight's prime time match between the Lancaster Flying Arrows and your Platteville Hillmen opens our 2024 season. I'm Seth Wilson alongside my wingman here, Jonah Vorwald, bringing you live, fresh, electrifying commentary from the Jack O'Neill booth by way of the Platteville Hillmen Broadcasting Club. Taking a look at your home team led by 20-year head coach Denise Bernchin, we see a Hillman team that is coming off a 15-17 record with a 6-4 record in the SWC that has high hopes coming into the season, returning 5 starters, including first-team All-Conference senior setter Jackson Bernchin and second-team All-Conference outside hitter Linnea Dye. The Hillmen look to set a strong win tonight to start the season and get things rolling early. On the flip side, the Flying Arrows are coming off a slightly disappointing 2-8 conference season where they were 7-16 overall. They fell to Mineral Point in the regional, and they look to get a little bit farther this year, returning some key pieces that can hopefully build a run. Jonah, how are you doing tonight?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well. I'm glad to be back.
Okay. That's good. We are back.
We are back.
In our, where even are we? You already said it. The Jack O'Neill? Is that what it is?
Jack O'Neill booth.
That's good.
Where we're at.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Whitewater tournament last weekend. So our girls team, they went to a Whitewater tournament, played 7 games from what I've seen. They won 4 out of them against Beloit Memorial, Kenosha Tremper, Shoreland Lutheran, and East Troy. Unfortunately, they lost to McFarland twice and Lakeside Lutheran. So that's the start of their season there, 4-3, and we'll see if they can continue off. I guess that's a strong start in some ways. Kind of symbol. What am I saying? Similar to what they had last year. They're a little bit better than 500, and 4-3 is just that. So we'll see if that continues tonight with a win against Lancaster.
Volleyball is interesting. With the structure of the schedule, for our team, we only play 10 conference games, and that's our entire season. However, our coach, Denise Bernchin, a master of her craft, loves to schedule as many weekend tournaments, in-between tournaments as you can to get the girls ready. Our actual season only consists of the 10 conference games, which makes every single game as important as possible, and it really uses those tournaments to kind of clean up everything in between. Also makes practice extraordinarily important. A little bit different than what you might compare to like a basketball or baseball season.
All right, counting down the final seconds.
We got a pretty exciting broadcast tonight. I want to, shout out and show off some of our new features. After this first set of warm-ups, the girls will flip sides. You can't see right now, but there's about 30 seconds left in the first round of warm-ups. The girls will flip side, and we'll send it down courtside, where I won't be down there. Jonah won't be down there. We have our courtside crew that will be featured all season. It'll be a mix of different players, but tonight we have Andrew Donner and Lucas Tabor courtside. They're going to be grabbing somebody from the student section, giving a little rundown, and giving us some interviews. Another thing about volleyball that's a little unique, there's no halftime, there's no breaks. Kind of like baseball, it just keeps rolling. However, there is a little bit of time in between each, so make sure you stick around and don't tune off because we will see some cool little things in between each set. As the girls flip sides here, we're going to get ready to send it down courtside. We have Andrew Donner and Lucas Tabor courtside. Don't forget the names because they will be ready. They will be there for football games, volleyball games, basketball games, and we will have an exciting broadcast for you with many personalities all season long.
All righty. Let's get it.
As always, our mighty tech guy, Marcus Cruel, a senior, as I'm a senior this year, so this will be my final year. He will be his final year in the booth, but he has always managed our tech at a high level. Shout out Marcus. That's our guy as we get the technology set up for tonight's sideline interview. we'll send it courtside.
You're not going to hold it.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a great night tonight. My name's Andrew Donner. I'm with my partner.
I'm Lucas Tabor, and we're here with Guthrie Klein from the Platteville student section. Today we're taking time to ask him a few questions before the volleyball starts. I'm going to hand it to Andrew. He's going to start it out.
All right. So the first question, Guthrie. Based off of the warm-ups and the energy in here, how are you feeling about tonight's game?
I'm quite excited, man. There's a lot of energy in here, and I think the girls are going to do great. Lancaster brought some heat. Platteville got more.
Wow, really coming in from left field there, but we're all good over here. This is the real question. Guthrie, if you were placed in a high school volleyball game, how would you think you'd fare against this competition, even with our nice varsity starters?
Yeah, you know, Platteville girls are good, and I might not be quite there, but I think I'd be do pretty good. Help support the team, get some spikes in there. Got hops, you know.
He was also stating earlier that he played beach volleyball. I think that'd help out.
Beach volleyball, it's fun. You guys should try it. All right, Guthrie. Based off our student section tonight, do you think we're going to have a lot of noise?
Oh, yes, we will. We have a lot of energy. We got a lot of people here, a lot of new freshmen incoming, and we got a lot of energy. It's going to be great.
All right, last question. If you're hitting up McDonald's after this, what's the go-to order?
Go-to order, you got to get an Oreo McFlurry and a medium fry.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it, bro. You just got to get a little snack.
Sounds amazing. All right, we're going to cut it up back to the booth. Thank you, guys.
And we're back.
That is true. We are back.
And we're back. We're back in the booth. Thank you, Andrew and Lucas. Hopefully that was a very pleasant courtside interview. And it looked great from here. Congratulations on their debut for the Platteville Hillman Broadcasting Club, an addition that I look forward to all season long, and I know you at home will enjoy it as well. Don't worry, it won't be the last time you hear from them tonight. We will hear from them very, very soon. Now you can kind of see, like, the court, obviously. I don't know why I said that, but you can see the little court. You can see all of our players here tonight as our Hillman warm-up. Just some notables. Number 9 in the middle, the setter for the Hillman, the core of this team. Reached 1,000 assists last year, a very, very impressive mark. On the other side in the middle, number 38, Rihanna Dye, a very dominating player who was a freshman last season, looks to get some experience and is a sophomore this season. The Hillman are a very, very wide array of team. They have their seniors, they have their leaders, and that shows off in their starting lineup. However, they do have their youth. They have some juniors who contribute a lot of good time. They have their sophomores, their sophomore pair, as they did last year, Rihanna and Avery Richards. And they even have some freshmen on the varsity roster. We'll see how much playing time they get, but they are sure to be helpful, as all players on this team are. But it really shows off the variety this volleyball team has and their confidence going into each game and then each season in the future.
Yeah, definitely agree. I'm a huge warm-up guy person. Just to clarify what that means, I pay attention to warm-ups. I think they're very important. I would like to mention, though, the warm-up I'm seeing right now is very hard to tell what will transfer because obviously not all the players that are warming up right now are not going to play. It's kind of like, actually, I guess a lot of things. Everyone always warms up. But when you mix and match kind of your starters with your backups, you see certain mistakes, things like that won't happen in the game. So from my opinion, I would say we've missed some serves and we've missed some shots, but I can't say they'll transfer because, like I mentioned, it's probably not all their starters. I can guarantee it's not. So when we get to that point, hopefully they'll be better, obviously. But from the people I do know, it looks pretty decent.
Last season, the Hillman pulled off a clean sweep against Lancaster. They played them twice in conference matchups, one home, one away, and they won in 3 sets each game. They look to continue that dominance this season as they return most of their core and look to overturn the tide in those conference games that they were unable to pull off. Looking at last season, we were able to start the season as we always do with the UW Whitewater tournament. We lost at River Valley, which ended up being the conference runner-up last season in 3 sets. We beat Lancaster in 3 sets after beating them at a Richland Center tournament. And we beat Richland Center in 5 sets, a very close match. Then we were swept by Dodgeville in 3 sets. That ended up being the conference championship. They were 9-1 in conference. And then we won to River Valley 2-1. But that was in a tournament, so it didn't count for our conference game. We beat Prairie du Chien in 3 sets, then lost to River Valley in our next matchup 3-1. Beat Lancaster 3-0, beat Richland Center 3-1, and then lost to Dodgeville 0-3.
Yeah, it was a good year.
Was a very good year. We won the first round of the regionals, losing in the second round in 3 sets to McFarland.
It is interesting playing the teams in your conference outside of the conference games. From a coaching standpoint, though, every time you play a team, you obviously get more. You're more familiar with them. You understand like where you're at, how good they are, and you learn how to maybe be better against them next game. So playing them outside of the actual conference game is either a good thing or a bad thing. If you're the worst team and you think you need the extra help, then it's probably a good thing. But if you think you're better, most of the times you'd rather take the risk on one game and just play them the only times you have to and go out and beat them. So it is interesting that we won. You said we won that game that didn't count, but then when it mattered, it was a different story.
Yep. I will be honest, last season I do feel like that we had some Hillmen that were snubbed of all conference awards. But I am sure that they look to put on an all-conference season this year. Jackson Barrington being the obvious first-team all-conference, very well-deserved. Lene Dye, a second-team all-conference. But I do feel like we had some more players on our team that could have been all-conference. Just a little look into this upcoming season. I think we can expect an all-conference campaign out of Claire Hoosier at libero. Led the team in digs last year. Was that player to return opposing teams' hits, get the offense started, and really contribute a lot of important time to the Hillmen, and will be full-time returning this season. Stella Schumacher moves into defensive specialist. She looks to do some all-conference things. She split time last season with senior Kaylin Sass, so she will step into a bigger role this season. Avery Richards, a sophomore for the Hillmen, played a lot of time as a freshman last season. She looks to build an all-conference resume along with other outside hitter Addison McNeil, who steps into a bigger role as she will replace Alyssa Blevins, who graduated last season.
Yeah. I would like to mention that everything I said for the Platteville Hillman warm-up applies to the Lancaster warm-up, so take most things with a grain of salt. It has no prediction power over what will happen in the actual game, except for sometimes in my head, and it's usually wrong. Looks like.
Be sure to stick around all season. I know that some people were looking for our streaming schedule and wondering what will be streamed, what won't be streamed. We plan to stream as many home sports games as we can. We will be streaming all the home volleyball games and all of the home football games, including tomorrow night's matchup at home against Broadhead. The Hillman football team went 0-2 in their non-conference stretch, as well as Broadhead. Broadhead also went 0-2. Both looking for their first win on the season and their first conference win. Tomorrow night will be broadcasted by head Fletcher Klein and co-commentator Kingston Clayton. We will also hoping to broadcast soccer this season. we haven't broadcasted the first set of home games. However, there will be a few more home games upcoming, and we will hopefully have a broadcast team on that. So be sure to tune in and look for those.
Yeah, it should be good. Fortunately, our soccer specialists, though, are in soccer. Who would have thought? So they cannot do that. I guess same goes for our volleyball specialists and football specialists.
Yes.
They happen to play the sport during the season. So you would think those people would be the best in that respective field. Well, I guess we have some time to kill. Is there any? Actually, I had a question. When is the last time you played volleyball?
Last
I don't
time
mean to date
I
our experience,
played volleyball. It would have to be in gym class. I would say last year with your mom. I believe it was towards the end of the year.
but okay.
For my height, I'm actually not as impressive as you may assume. I have some misdirection with my sets. I like to play in some little tempo, which I'm not sure is perfectly legal, but sometimes I speed up or slow down how I set, or throw in some serve. Excuse me, my serves,
serve.
not my sets.
But
But
you were trying
otherwise,
to give the code name for your sets go wherever. You never know where they're going to go.
I really don't. But I'm just kind of a role player for the other members of my gym class. But I can't say I'm a volleyball savant playing.
I see. Yeah, I'd have to say the same. Just play your role, allow the team to win, depending on your team. Sometimes there are times when I gotta try really hard, and I usually fail because of my lack of experience. But yeah, it was about a year ago. All right, enough about me. We're about to start this game. It's gonna be good, unless there's another warm up because I kind of lost count.
Yeah, there's been 3 warm-ups as there are in volleyball. Each 6 minutes in length. Another unique thing about volleyball. Both sides are practicing their serves back and forth.
Yeah.
While they practice those serves and each side gets ready to announce their starting lineup, let's look at some of the stat leaders from last season. Avery Richard was our leader in kills with 58 last season. She had an average of 2.9 kills per set. Addison McNeil followed with 41, 2.1%, and Rihanna Dye had 36, 1.8%. Serving, Jackson Berenson led with 9 aces. Addie McNeil had 7, Claire Hoosier had 6, and Lene Dye had 6. Defensively on the blocking side up front, the Dye sisters, Renee and Lene, each had 4 blocks. Claire Hoosier in the middle had 70 digs. Jackson Berenson second with 55. Avery Richards with 45. Maggie Grubant also had 32, a very important junior this season. And finally, Jackson Berenson took up a majority of the assists with 164. We now have our starting lineups and national anthem.
we'd like to announce that if you have interest in becoming a WIAA official, please visit the WIAA website and call the high school office at Platteville High School. We're always looking for officials. We'd like to thank the officials tonight for their time this evening. If it wasn't for them, we would not have a volleyball match tonight. We'd like to welcome the 2 line judges, Mr. Ken D. and Mr. Ken Forty. And then tonight's varsity officials are Tori Kruba and Pat McIntyre. And now for your starting lineups. The senior, number 1, Abby Timmerman. A senior, number 14, Emma Jensen. A senior, number 15, Cassie Nimitz. A senior, number 18, Jessica Morgan. A senior, number 20, Sophia Grutzmacher. A senior, number 21, Ella Grutzmacher. Henry Libero, a junior, number 2, Lauren Rukoff. The Arrows are coached by Madison Devlin. And now for your Platteville Hillmen. A senior, number 5, Lene Dye. A senior, number 9, Jackson Batchin. A senior, number 10, Addison McNeil. A sophomore, number 22, Avery Richard. A senior, number 31, Stella Schumacher. A sophomore, number 38, Renee Dye. And a senior, number 20, the libero, Claire Hoosier.
And that concludes the starting lineups for each side. In case you missed it, Lancaster will start number 1, Abby Timmerman, defensive specialist. Number 2, Lauren Ratwood, defensive specialist. Oh, no, that would be the libero. Number 14, Emma Jensen, defensive specialist. Cassie Nemitz, number 15. Number 18, Jessica Morgan, outside hitter. Sophia Grutzmacher, middle hitter. And Ella Grutzmacher, middle hitter. For the Hillmen, Lene Dye will be in the middle, a senior for the Hillmen. Number 9, Jackson Bernchin, will be a setter. Number 10, Addie McNeil, will be an outside hitter. Claire Hoosier, number 20, will be a libero. Number 22, Avery Richards, a sophomore, will be an outside hitter. And number 31, Stella Schumacher, a defensive specialist, a senior for the Hillmen. And finally, number 38, Rihanna Dye, right side and middle hitter, a sophomore for the Hillmen.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Ready to see a game. Toughest part of the game is the pregame.
It feels good to be back in the booth. The first time
yes,
for both of us.
Some of our favorite officials are out there.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
I know them all very well.
Yes.
The Hillmen will start in a 1-1-1-3 formation. Addie McNeil will start the set. From there, 20 libero, Claire Hoosier, 31 Stella Schumacher, and 22 Avery Richards, 5 Lene Dye, and 9 Jackson Bernchin in the front row. Addie will start it across, bumped up by Lauren, set right across, and a spike set up, met with the front wall of Dye and Bernchin. Now Berenson will get the first set and the first assist of this season to number 22, Avery Richards.
Yeah, the arrows were kind of bundled on the left side there, not able to cover the middle of the court, which is not usually where you see smashes landing.
McNeil cannot get it over that time, and it'll be 1-1 Hillman Arrows. Each side getting their first point of the season. Maggie Grabant, number 19, the junior, will check in for number 10, Addie McNeil. On the other side, Emma Jensen will give the first serve for Lancaster. Over. Received by Hoosiers. Set up by Berenson. Tapped over lightly by Lene Dye. Hard over, but received. Jackson Berenson gets it over. And can't get over the net there. And that'll be 4 hits. Arrows go up 2-1. Already a little bit of commentary from the Lancaster JV and student section.
Yes,
pretty good student section
right below us, so we will hear them all night.
Jackson Berenson keeps her set, and she gets the assist to Lene Dye.
That is the recipe for success. Now we saw the early miss serve for the Hillman. We'll see if that trend will eliminate or continue.
Number 7, Quinn Temperley checks into the game, a freshman for the Hillman. And that should be an ace, as they did not get it over. Hillman take a 3-2 lead. Quinn Temperley is the first freshman to check in this season, something that we did see last year. Lots of youth, and there's a back-to-back. Lancaster unable to get a return. The Hillman lead 4-2. Jackson Berenson back-to-back aces. Berenson too far this time. Point will go the other way.
That's 2 now in 4 serves, so or 5.
Something I do remember
serves
from gym class. I did have Jackson Berenson in my class. A nightmare to face, obviously, as she is excellent at volleyball, is she had a knuckleball serve, which she just showed off right there. Absolutely zero spin. It makes it a lot harder than you'd think to return, as the spike set there, stuffed up by the wall, and that'll go out of bounds. Hillman play the long game, and they are up 2 now.
Yes, there's a good leave there by Claire Hoosier.
Claire Hoosier checks out. Rihanna Dye is in. That gives the lineup of Lene, Jackson, Quinn, Maggie, Avery, and Rihanna. That'll be out of, we have a substitution error, or rotational error on Lancaster. They're discussing it with their coach now.
I think that is the definition of an unforced error.
Or as Isaiah Altflich would say, a self-inflicted wound. Lene serves it over, received by the libero. 14 sets it up. That is 20 to get it over, but stuffed up. Going back and forth, and they only had one person there. That's number 5, Megan Cruel, and she cannot return it back over.
Yes, note the head does count as a hit.
It does. Lene will continue. Over on a line. 20, sets it up. The libero, over. Jackson sets. Hard spike. But that'll be too far by the freshman Quinn Temperley. 7-4 is the score now. Lancaster makes a substitution, checking in Nicole Kelly, a senior for Lancaster. 18 now to serve. Can't get it over. That's 18 Jessica Morgan for the Flying Arrows.
We now have 12 points on the board, and if I'm counting correctly, we have less than 5 actual kills or unreturnable balls. There have been many unforced errors on returns, serves, and the penalty as well, or the substitution error.
Avery Richard on the serve on that one. Lancaster able to get it over. Jackson with the assist to Renee Dye. That's Jackson's third assist of this game. And we have a 9-4 Hillman score. Avery with the serve over. 14 sets up 13. Hits it, bumps the net. McNeil to the backside. High return. Grutzmacher. Number 20, Sophia, gets it over. Diving dig there. Keeps it alive. Hoosier sets up the offense. And a perfect bump set spike. Hoosier Bernchin to Dye. Rihanna Dye.
Well,
And the first timeout called. Lots of energy for the Hillmen.
yes, an early lead there. And as soon as I mentioned that we had many unforced errors, the next 2 points, the last 2 points, were both on kills. So ignore what I said, I guess. Now it's going to turn into a bloodbath of spikes and things like that. Unreturnable balls, impossible to get back. If you set it up perfectly, it's hitting the floor.
10-4 is our score as the Hillmen return to play here. This is the first set of the season, 2024 season. The Hillmen will enter the game with a lineup of 22 Richards, number 20 Hoosier, 9 Bernchin, 38 Rihanna Dye, 7 Temperley, and number 10 McNeil. Lancaster with less levels to their defense and a oval look to it. 14 will set up a kill over by Cruel. Can't get it to go. Temperley brings it down hard. It will be blocked, but it will not return inbounds. Hillman get the first point after the timeout.
Oh, that
And
is
an
an
ace there by the Hillmen.
Lancaster looking to regroup, end this cold streak.
I am cramping. I'm just going to be honest. Oh, my God. I'm all good.
And that is a
I
kill
apologize.
there from Lancaster. Not even a chance for that Hillman with that type of speed on it. And the Lancaster does do kind of what I just did. Or sorry, it's just what they do what I just said, and they do break that streak of losing points. Now we'll see if it continues here. Number 15 back to serve. It is a good serve. A tough recovery there, but the Hillmen do get it back over the net. A setup here for Lancaster. And over. The Hillmen have a hit chance back over the net to Lancaster. Lancaster with another hit back over to the Hillmen. And then a deception play there. No set from Jackson Berchin, but instead a light set over the net, just over the defense, and lands in no man's land where no one can get it back. Are you recovered from your
I am
from your
recovered.
cramp?
I am
That dehydration will go hard.
lacking fluids, as I will need to make sure I do that before my football game tomorrow.
That would be recommended. We do see another point there for the Lancaster Arrows.
Schumacher checks in for Temperley, 31. As the Hillmen will set up in a 3-2-1 formation from back to front. Bernchin in the front. Richards with the return. Bernchin gets it up for McNeil. Hard return. And Schumacher unable to handle it.
A nice bump there from the crowd. Back into play. Showing that there is some talent in the stands of our games.
Number 2, Lauren Renouf, the libero, will get it over. Kept alive somehow in a total mess of confusion at the net, but it's alive, and that'll be out of bounds. Hillman point. Hillman now double the score of the Arrows, 14-7 in the first set, as Lene Dye, number 5, a returning all-conference, second-team all-conference player, will check into the game for the Hillmen. Hoosier, horizontal spin on the serve, and that'll be blocked, but it will not return into fair territory. Lancaster will get the point.
Yes, they will. I would like to note for anyone that has never watched volleyball before, no, the scoreboard is not frozen. We play to a point limit and not a time limit.
Indeed. It is a best of 5 system. Lancaster gets a point there after a missed return. A best of 5 scoring system for the regular season, where the first team to 3 sets is the victor.
The winner of glory.
Serve what?
The winner of glory they are.
Truly. Hillman on a little bit of a cold streak here. 3 straight points for Lancaster. 14-10's the score.
A bit of a run.
Abby Timmerman on the serve. As a few country folk from Lancaster, the theme definitely Western, enter the gymnasium. Soft tap over by McNeil. Lancaster returns. Berenchin sets up McNeil. Back row, 15. Berenchin to die to Berenchin to get it over, but no kill there. Deflected, up by Richards. Berenchin to McNeil. Back row, received by the libero. Toss over. This is a great rally as Berenchin double taps. Unable to get it over with the one-handed tap.
Yes, and then she tried to hit the ball again, which is not allowed.
Abby Timmerman will continue serving. Schumacher on the reception. Dye gets it over. 2 over. Berenchin to Dye. Hard hit, but reserved by Timmerman. Put straight into the nets. And a little bit of miscommunication. The ball hit a little bit too hard. Will break this dry spell for the Hillmen.
Yeah, an awkward pass there. Not really any sort of attacking ball. Almost under the net. One of the hardest places to be in any net sport, as you have to balance the power and spin effect.
McNeil, a hard serve over on the line. Hillmen get on their side. Brought down by Berenchin, but met with a wall of number 21, Ella Grutzmacher, and number 18, Jessica Morgan. Cannot get it over. It's 15-12.
The dangerous thing about hitting it right into the hands of a blocker, the harder you hit it, the harder it comes back.
That is true. A little bit of physics lesson brought to you by Jonah Vorwald. Berenchin gets under it to Richard, the one-legged thing. Megan Krul goes out of bounds to get the play. Berenchin, hard by Dye, can't get it over. One more hit to get it, and they do, finding a soft spot in the defense. The Hillmen get the very exciting point, 16-12.
Faith was not rewarded for the Lancaster player that almost had to jump over the scoreboard, but instead was able to find a clearing.
Miscommunication there. Lancaster cannot rally in. And the Hillmen draw nearer to this first set. Berenchin now 17-12. Serve on the line. Sets the play up. Across the court. Berenchin trying to find a weak spot in the zone. Can't find it. Wall for Platteville holds up. And Lene and Richard will stuff the Lancaster attempt. Berenchin to serve, 18-12, first set. Diving reception by number 2, Lauren Ralph. And a timeout called.
Great serve there.
Hillmen up 19-12.
We've seen Barrington use a decent amount of those soft sets over the net, looking to score points. They don't always work, and I'm sure when sometimes you may feel as a coach a little bit frustrated that you're just giving it back to them, but it is good to keep the opponent honest, not just have them expecting the same thing every time, not just a heavy spike, something like that, always looking to block. They have to be ready for both of them, and it's a little bit of an adjustment just to keep it in the back of their minds for the opponent to think, oh, they might go to that soft touch. You have to always be ready for that, and you can't just get in a blocking defensive position.
We will return action now. Barrington will continue to serve 19-12. The Hillmen on their own run since breaking the dry spell earlier. Standing return. Barrington sets up dive, brings down hard. Hits the diagonal corner. It's 20-12. And a ferocious bring down by Lene. Wall there by Temperley and Dye. Lene Dye will keep the Lancaster Arrows from the return. Barrington now on the serve to the back row. Grutzmacher gets it over at an angle. Barrington backwards, tipped up, saved, kept in play. And I believe...
Yes, I did the Lancaster point.
Lancaster will score either on a Hillman
Do believe
net
their
violation
pass never got over the net.
or it never got over. 21, Ella Grutzmacher here to serve. Temperley serves it backwards. One hit to get it over, and Dye will do that. And it hits in the perfect spot.
Yes. Kind of a unique play there from number 21 for Lancaster. I didn't feel like she needed to go to the one hand arm. Almost felt like she slowed down, but it was not a very accurate pass, if I do say so myself.
22-13, Lene Dye will serve, and there's an ace at the right time. Lancaster caught off guard just a little bit, maybe caught sleeping.
It feels like the chemistry between this Lancaster group just isn't there. They don't really know who's taking which balls, and it's hurting them right now.
And brought right back. Set up easily, almost an assist for the other team as Renee Dye brings down the
Does
hammer.
that go in the stat book? No, it does not.
And now the Hillmen, I believe, are 1 point away from taking this first set. Lene over, saved, but no good. And the Hillmen will win the very first set, 25-13.
Yeah.
We join you back in the booth now. We got a little 3-minute break. A little bit of highlights from that first one. I recorded 7 assists from Jackson Barrington, 2 kills from Lene Dye, 3 to Renea, and 1 from Avery Richard.
Brianna.
The Hillmen able to pull away 25-13. They had a little bit of a dry spell in the middle, but they pulled it away and recovered strong. An excellent first set of this 2024 season.
It was a great way to start their conference season. I would like to point out, I mentioned in the beginning, 2 early missed serves for the Hillmen. That is kind of a double-edged sword. You go for that big serve, you get a lot of free points on it, but when you're missing them, it can really be a killer. Momentum shifts, things like that. We saw it towards the end there. You said they were slow towards the middle, and then they brought it back with some really nice serving in the third court. The second half of the set, I guess. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but that later stage of the first set, they had great serving, got a lot of free points off of it. Not a lot of missed serves, if any, if I can remember correctly. And it just turned the momentum right back. It felt like Lancaster was creeping back in, and then they shut the door on them. They had a ton of kills and a ton of serves that were just either just non-recoverable at all. Like the one shot, and they won the point. see if they can keep that in the second set. Now, sometimes the difference in where you are can be a large difference.
Looking at the upcoming schedule for the Hillmen, not counting tournaments, they will play next Thursday at home against Richland Center. That will be broadcasted, live. Then they'll play Tuesday at home against Dodgeville, away for their very first away game at Prairie du Chien, and then home against River Valley on Tuesday, September 24th. A minute left in this first break between the first set and the second set.
Also, I don't believe those at home can hear the music in the gym this year, but I would like to point out it does seem better than sometimes in the past. They have only played good songs, in my opinion. Now, obviously, that's subjective, but it's been a good environment. You know, sometimes this gym is dead. We have no fans, and to start the year off, it's been just like most of the games last year that were very good. It's been very hype, you would say, because we are kids in a way, maybe young adults. I don't know. Who knows what they are anyways.
Skibbity. Lancaster will start the action of the second set. Abby Timmerman gets it over after a bounce from the nets. Around a die, too hard, and the first point of the second set will go to the Lancaster Flying Arrows. Platteville is 3-3. They have a lineup of Lene Dye, Claire Hoosier with the reception there. Jackson Berenchin, twisty set there, number 9. Addie McNeil, number 10. Avery Richard, number 22. And Stella Schumacher, number 31, as the Hillmen score their first point of this second set.
Yes, 1-1, just like the last set. Although most sets are probably 1-1. So a third of the time that would happen.
McNeil with the hard set over. 18 will get it over for the Hillmen, Jessica Morgan. Avery Richard brings down the hammer on that one. 15. Cassie Nemitz cannot handle it. 2-1 Hillmen. One, two, three formation for the Hillmen. McNeil over, turred by Timmerman. Renee Dye gets it over. Ping-ponged around. And the Hillmen stuff it at the net, keep it alive. Jackson Berenchin sets it over, gets a reset. 21 hard, and she finds the line. Adam McNeil dives, but cannot get there in time. 2-2, Hillmen Arrows.
Yeah, you know, it's early, but the Arrows look a little bit better this set.
That they do.
They seem to not have any communication problems through the first 4 points.
Maybe they talked it out.
Yeah, that, you know,
After
that's
the first
usually
set.
what happens.
14 Jensen serves for the Arrows. And a hard hammer brought down by Lene Dye. Unable to be controlled by the Arrows. 3-2.
Really wish we had a counter on how many times you said hard.
If it's like my absolutely last year, it'll be in the thousands. A not soft.
No. Powerful.
Powerful kill there. 3-3. Lancaster,
soft.
Hillmen.
You can't use antonyms.
Gutzmacher to serve. Hoosier, Berenchin, Dye. High arcing bump. Received by Richards. Brought over by Richards. And she will get the point. 4-3. Hillman check in the sophomore. Renee Dye, 38. She will start in the middle. Lene Dye, her sister, with the serve. And that one will be defended by the net, 5-3 Hillman.
That was a lazy attempt there. And yes, the net is always the best defender.
Something to note, I've noticed throughout this game, the Hillmen like to keep the ball low and controlled, whereas Lancaster plays the ball very high in the air. And I just contrasted myself as that one was, wow, in the Raptors high.
It didn't hit anything.
And Lancaster does just the opposites.
Very impressive to go over one Raptor, come down on the other side, and not hit the bar or the beam on the top there. Unfortunately, though, the point was not won, so it was all for nothing. And no one will remember this point because we lost.
I'll remember
the
it
Hillman
for you,
lost.
Jonah. Don't worry.
Well, I won't, so.
Hoosier unable to handle that one. 5-5 tie game.
Yes, maybe a little bit of unexpected spin there. It's a little bit hard to see from an eagle eye view. That one I could see. It didn't look like it had much on it.
And that looks like a rotational error. 6-5.
Something along those lines.
Lancaster leads. Brought over by Brianna Dye. Diving play there by Bernchin. Temperley sets it up to Richard. That one's over. A long set here. Hangs on the top of the net. Brought over. It's still kept alive by Hoosier. And brought down hard. Said it again. Avery Richard, 6-6 Hillman. Arrows tied.
Put that right through that small little slit through the hands of the blockers. It was almost like the number 18 back there trying to defend it. Couldn't even see where the ball was coming from. It was so precise.
Avery Richard bumps the top of the net. That was just a rule that was changed recently. I was talking with a lady from Mineral Point, and she was she had a very strong opinion on if serve should be able to hit the net or not and be ruled over.
Yeah, what did she think?
She quit refereeing, officiating after it became a rule. It was too far for her. So she did not appreciate that rule change.
And that was recently?
It must have been, because she seemed not too far off from her officiating days as she transferred to photography.
Oh, okay.
But that one will not get you across, no matter the rule. 8-7, Hillman lead.
So just to clarify for anyone at home, it can hit the net and go over. Yes, net cords are a killer in all sports, except for the ones that have lets. You see another one there, right on cue.
Wynn Temperley, the freshman, doing exactly what we just talked about, gets her very first career ace. 9-7, Hillman lead. Another one cannot be handled, and number 15, Cassie Nemens, unable to hold it in. Getting some coaching from, I believe, first-year head coach Madison Devlin. Temperley again, 10-7 Hillman. Grutzmacher gets it over. Richard, Bernchin, McNeil, and they get the point, 11-7.
Oh, almost out of the building. Well, not the building, the room, the gym. The door was left open, as it probably should be, so people could come through. And I don't think she was aiming for the door, but it was close. It would have been I'm assuming there's a spare ball. Yes, there is, but somebody would have had to get it. could have ruined someone's lunch or their whole day. I mean, it's pretty late in the day, but could have ruined their night. All right, let's get back to volleyball.
And a tiny little volleyball stretches into the back of the court. Kicked off by our very mindful referee. High arcing return. 19 hits it hard. Hoosier with the dive. Berenson with one hand to get it over. 21 Grutzmacher. Ella Grutzmacher gets it over, and it finds a spot right smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, the miscommunication there between Platteville almost led to the point, or contributed to the point for us, as Berenson, as she should, goes for the second ball to set it up. And it was Hoosier, right? Took that ball instead and found us a point. Sorry, found the Hillman a point.
18 with the flat set. Berenson to die, across the net. McNeil up, back to McNeil, and not a good angle on that one. 12-9, the Hillman lead by 3.
Yes, we are definitely seeing more consistent play from the Arrows, keeping it somewhat close. Only 3 points down here. Their defense looks a little more consolidated. That's the word I'm looking for. Together, at least. They're playing as a team.
Abby Timmerman unable to get it over. 13-9 Hillman. 3 point there. McNeil to serve. High and
just a bit off.
Did not find the line.
Good leave there from the Lancaster player. It's hard to know where you are sometimes, but with lots of games, lots of experience, you learn where the lines are. And you just hope you don't find yourself in a court kind of like this one where there's a tons of lines that might confuse you. But they haven't seemed to have a problem so far.
Diving play there by Hoosier, unable to keep it in.
I guess if you get really good, though, you kind of feel your way around the court instead of having to see the lines. You know where they are without having to look.
Emma Jensen gets it over. Hoosier, Berenson. Lene Dye with the left-handed tap. Diving play by 1, backwards by 18. And Berenson will go across to Richard, too far. Lancaster point, only 1 point lead for the Hillmen. 13-12.
Yes, placement over power always wins. Well, most of the time it wins. There are some exceptions.
Grabant gets the reception there. Richards with the standing return, and it's the perfect spot.
Exactly. Perfect placement, perfect result.
Perfect. As players of MLB The Show will understand.
Yes. That ball was not hit perfect, but it was in the perfect spot. Maybe we'll see one coming up. You can usually hear it. That might have been one.
Wall set by the Hillmen. Berenson gets the set. Hard ball. Temperley sets it up. Kept alive for a second, but not quite. And that'll be the point for the Arrows. 14-13. They're keeping it close.
Yeah, it's tough when you hit it right into the blocker's hands and it's coming right back at you as you're still coming down from your jump. So you're almost in free fall trying to move your arms to get it back up in the air.
Grutzmacher's what to serve. Berenson behind her head. And we have a whistle here. And it'll be a point for the Hillmen.
I believe it was something on number 20. Didn't catch quite what it was.
Die, soft hit, shallow, and it's just what they need. Lancaster can't get it over. The Hillmans uses the defense of the net. Grutzmacher gets it over. Berenson, one hand high, tapped over by Dye. Not sure if that was planned or not. And Temperley And Dye on the block.
The Hillmen are on a roll here. Getting the crowd into it. Going down 2-0 is a huge moment in this game if it would happen for the Arrows. Very difficult to recover.
Hillman student section getting riled up.
We do have a ways to go before this set is over, but for the time being, the Hillmen are pulling away with it, now up by 5 points. Weak serve there by Dye. Here comes the spike from the Lancaster, and it is recovered by the Hillmen. A hit back over from the Hillmen, now back to the Arrows. Now back to the Hillmen, and some miscommunication there. The ball lands. Now note there, Berenchin was there in the area, could have hit the ball, but because she's the setter, she wants to hit the second ball, not the first one, because that's the one that you can set easier. So she was expecting, I think it was Avery to hit it, and then she would set it. But instead it was miscommunication, and the result was a point for the Arrows. Heavy spike there by, sorry, I'm not as good as this. Maybe number 19, Maggie McGravant was in the area. A point for the Hillmen is what really matters.
Richard, flat serve, 19-14. Hard brought by Cruel, but that'll be past the back line. 2014, Hillmen are just 5 points away from clinching the second set. Richard over, hits the net. Cruel with the bump over. McNeil on the reception. Dye brings it hard, but cannot overcome the net. 2015 will be the score.
It's difficult not to freeze when you see your best player, Rihanna Dye, or your best hitter, at least Rihanna Dye, have an opportunity in her hands. You almost think, oh, that point's just over. It's hard for the players to realize, oh, we still have to play defense if the ball comes back. And there it did, and it was over their heads.
Richard goes to her knees on the reception, gets it set up, and that'll get them the point.
It was a good shot there, right at the line official over there in the white.
Something I've thought about as we got our new football stadium is turf. We practice and play on turf for every home game, and there's lots of turf burn. Something I would like to complain about, but volleyball I feel like has it the hardest. Basketball is obviously played on the hardwood as well, but there's really not as many diving plays and plays that require you to be all over the floor. In volleyball, they all have long sleeve jerseys. Majority of them wear knee pads.
Yes.
And floor burn's doesn't sound fun to me.
No. I will say, from my experience in basketball, it kind of depends on where you are. This court is not as bad as some of our conference courts where, especially when they're sweaty at least too, you can slide through them perfectly fine. But some of them are almost like sticky to where you like stop, your momentum instantly stops. And some of those courts are absolutely terrible to dive on. And I would imagine to be similar for the volleyball game. Hillmen.
And that ball off the face.
Finding their 23rd point here.
And that'll be a timeout called. Little segment I'd like to do today. For all you listening at home, make sure you listen carefully. We have a trivia timeout. The question for you is, when was volleyball invented? Your options are 1915, 1826, 1923, 1895. When was volleyball invented? Options again, 1915, 1826, 1923, or 1895. Lock in your answers at home. I'm going to reveal it in like 10 seconds, so tell your buddy around you. Make sure you have your answer locked in. The answer is 1895.
Wow.
That was the year that volleyball was invented.
What else happened in 1895?
I couldn't tell you.
What ended in 1895?
Probably something if you're saying that.
Yeah, 1894. I'm sorry, that's the worst
Thank
joke
you, Jonah.
anyone's ever told.
23-16. Hoosier on the serve. 13 goes out of bounds and over, but no, it is not over. And that'll be 24-16. Hillman are just 1 point away.
Leave a comment in the chat if the 1890s are your favorite decade in American history.
I was going to put the trivia in the chat. Sadly, we have banned chat, so we don't have a chat on this live stream. Otherwise, I would.
Yes, because we want no one to tell us any of our faults and ever say anything bad.
Hillman win the second set 25-16. That will put them up 2 sets. We'll have a 3-minute little break here, and I want to shoot it right over to a little video that was recorded just this week at lunch during the first week of the school, where we asked some Hillman some very pressing questions.
Who am I here with?
Quinn. Soraya Stone. Mia. Claire. Gabby Key. Lainey Pickle.
Lainey, what is your favorite student section theme?
Hawaiian.
Why?
Because I like all the colors.
There we go.
My favorite theme is USA because I think it's fun to dress up like the 4th of July.
White lie because there's a bunch of different people that have different white lies.
Last colors because each grade gets their own color and you can see how many people come to the game.
Probably neon because I feel like it makes us louder and like we're just better that way. I'd say neon because I love wearing fun, bright colors.
My favorite student section theme has to be Hillman Pride. It's always a good idea to show your Hillman Pride at any school activity.
That's a little segment that will debut today and will hopefully come back if enjoyed. Got to interview some volleyball and football players at lunch throughout this week. It was a very good time. I appreciate all those, no matter how embarrassed they were to be interviewed. And if you have a question that you would like to see sent in for an interview, maybe you're wondering how the Hillmen feel about something, send it in, and there will be a wide variety of interview players and interview questions throughout this season. Be sure to check out the Ask the Hillmen tomorrow night at the Platteville Hillman Activities Complex for the football game.
Yeah. You know, maybe you could even try to interview the Lancaster players.
I wouldn't care for that.
But you may never get their opinion on how they feel about the Hillman.
Speaking of student sections, I am a big fan of tonight's pajamas. I think while it's not the most creative, it does get the most participation compared to others, besides the insane number of football players who are just wearing what they wore to practice. I imagine that student section does not smell fabulous.
Other than just Hillman spirit, pajama day is probably the easiest day to participate in.
I would be in
Unless
agreement.
you don't wear pajamas, then go buy some, just for the
for the
theme.
Student section
yeah,
theme.
exactly.
Once every sports season.
I mean, why not?
Jonah, what's your favorite student section theme?
My favorite theme is, probably Hawaiian, because I have an actual shirt that's different than what everyone else wears. And on the other ones, I feel like it's just who can not copy everyone else.
There you go. We'll start the third set here. The Hillmen lead 2-0 on sets, winning their first 25-13, their second 25-16. And McNeil gets it off to an excellent start there. McNeil, the leading server for the Hillmen, has started at every set thus far. She has now gone 2 for 3 on first set points, something that is very crucial to setting the tone of each set. That'll be out of bounds. Hillmen take a 2-0 lead. In the game for the Hillmen, number 10, Addie McNeil, number 20, Claire Hoosier, number 31, Stella Schumacher, number 22, Avery Richard, number 5, Leanna Dye, numbers 9, Jackson Bernchin.
Yes.
Hillman now lead 3-0.
I know we're biased towards the Hillman, but after this point, if you were Lancaster, what's the game plan here?
Honestly, our heads are cut off right now, and we just got to find a way to put it back on. Like you said, they've lacked communication all game. They've had the hard hits. Like, I don't think they lack that talent. However, I think their organization to get a play set up has just put them in bad positions. And like a hit like that really doesn't serve them any use. Good diving play there, as this is an excellent rally. Jackson Barrington brings it down hard. Another reception by 15, keeps it alive.
Yeah. Does feel like
out of bounds.
Sorry. It does feel like they lose a lot of points on balls that are out off the wide or long, and then they lose a lot of points just by trying to outlast them defensively. This is not a game where you want to be the defender. You want to attack and win points early, especially if you're less skilled. And based on the two results, you would guess maybe that they are the less skilled team, maybe a little bit younger. I know they have some senior leaders, but if you're not as good as the other team, you want these points over as fast as possible. Don't give them more opportunities to show that they're more skilled.
I would agree. 5-0 now. Addie McNeil staying in control. Bumped it over the wall of Barrington and Dye. Cross court set, but kept alive by Richard. Bumped up by Timmerman. Cross by 18. Diving play. It'll hit the ground.
Yes.
Which will prevent the Hillman from going on a 25-point run.
Those are the ones that I feel like you could get injured on. Diving and then trying to get a little more reach, as Avery tried there. She had already fully extended and then reached for just a little bit more, and unfortunately wasn't able to get it. But fortunately, she was not hurting herself in the process. And Lene Dye there with a kill to put the Hillman up 6-1 early in the third set.
6-1 Hillman. I do feel the Hillmen are using a much more varied. That's a violation there. Give another point.
Is that ball not over the net?
I do think the Hillmen are using a lot more varied lineup compared to last year. Last year we saw the same 6 or 7 girls. We've seen a pretty good sit into the bench this season, or this game, as I should say. Yeah. The freshman, obviously, Quinn Temperley getting time. Maggie Grabant playing good time. And there's a timeout. 8-1 Hillman lead.
Would like to point out, us two have also come a long way, as we are no longer calling the antenna the candy cane on the net, as I remember.
I do remember that last season. Another timeout trivia for you. Make sure you listen in close. The question right now is, how old is Platteville High School? 120, 132, 100, or 116? I repeat, 120, 132, 100, or 116? Lock in your answer. The answer is 132 years old. Platteville High School is 132 years old, lasting for a very long time. Jackson Barrington on the serve. Richard over. Back deep, one-handed return, and that's going to be way too far.
It is launched out of here.
A gym class-esque bump on that one, 9-1.
Yes.
Hillman dominating this third set, looking to put it away.
Oh.
And the net is the friend on that one.
That ball is out of here. Oh, but we got it right back. It happened. What I mentioned earlier, the ball goes through the door. Oh, it's not even available on your screen. Well, for anyone wondering, there is a door on the side of the building, on the gym, I guess, that leads to the cafeteria. The redid cafeteria as part of the referendum. And the ball just left. It was launched there by that hit. And then another great serve there. A nice put-away ace, I guess, by Barrington. 11-1 now for the Hillman. Good serve there over Lancaster. Has it tipped back to them. Now they have another shot at it. They go for it, and they get it blocked again, and this time it is knocked down by the Hillmen, and the Arrows are unable to recover. Another point for the Hillmen. Huge run here. Well, I don't remember when the Flying Arrows scored last. It's been so long. It was at the beginning of this set, but it is now 12-1.
12-1 the score. Lancaster way too hard there off the right side. And the Hillmen commanding this third set.
Yes, it would take something short of a miracle, but practically there for the Arrows now.
Jackson to the floor on that one. Low set over by Richard and 14-1.
Yes. Looked like a possible double hit there from Lancaster, but nonetheless, the Hillmen will get the point. Nice serve there by Jackson Berenchin. Ball is up in the sky and into the stands, and it is a point for the Hillmen.
15-1, and the Hillmen stay on a roll, scoring 9 straight. Jackson, Quinn, double set, spiked, kept alive by Grabant. Temperley, hard hit ball. 14 over, Grabant to the middle. Berenchin to Richard and over. One-handed punches almost. Berenchin to the opposite side and too hard from Richard.
And there's a point for the Arrows. It's been a little bit. In a hypothetical world, that starts off this huge run where they come back. In reality, it's just 1 point. So I'll get back to you if they score the next 13 in a row.
Layla Schuler, number 1, will check into the game for the very first time for the Hillmen.
Nice to see the confidence there, even with a huge lead here towards the end of the game.
Hoosier with the reception to Berenchin, and it won't be returned. 16-2. Rihanna Dye will check in.
Looks like they tried to block, but when you're not at the net, your block goes straight down, and this time it was on their own side of the net. Served there by Lene Dye. Turned by Lancaster, and they will secure the point. On a tipped ball straight down, just like the one prior, but on the flip side here for the scoring. Number 18 back to serve for the Flying Arrows. Heavy serve there with lots of spin to the Hillmen. They are able to get it, and a nice spike attempt. And a diving attempt by the Arrows, but unfortunately they will not be able to get the point. Number 14 there. That is, cannot read your writing, so. Emma.
Emma Jensen.
Thank you.
17-3, Richard's on the serve. Richard. 14, up 13. Wall by Temperley and Dye. Diving play can't be handled. 17-4.
You know, what's fascinating is it doesn't even feel like the Arrows are playing that much worse in this set than the other ones, but the score is just not reflecting that at all. I mean, I would say the most logical answer is that the Hillmen are just playing a lot better, or if anything, just the luck is going their way more often. Lancaster here, the ball on their side, a chance for the winner. And Platteville will recover. They need to softly hit it back over, so another chance for the Arrows here. Go for the kill, and it is recovered by number 22 on the Hillmen, Avery. And now another chance for the Arrows, and this one is tipped out of bounds. They will secure the points. Third time's a charm for them. Now 17-5. Cut into the lead ever so slightly, but when you're down by a significant amount, every point counts. Actually, at any point in the game, every point counts, but more importantly right now. Serve there by the Arrows. Recovered by the Hillman. They get it over back to the Arrows. And a weak hit there, but it will actually work out for the Lancaster Flying Arrows as they will score another point, possibly starting a run. There's some disagreement, but some people consider a run to be 2 points. Some of them consider it to be more than 2. I guess it's 2 or 3, or you're only really 2 options. But personally, I would consider 2 a run, but not a very good one. If you want those 3 to 5 points in a row. But here we do see a point for the Hillman, stopping that run, or whatever you want to call it, the 2-point stretch there for the Arrows. Only 7 points left for the Hillman.
Schuler will serve a little too far.
Yes.
That'll give the Arrows just a little bit of confidence here. 18-7. Schumacher will check back into the game. Berenchin sets up Dye, and Dye continues her killer dominance. A serial killer, one might say. Number 38, the sophomore, Brianna Dye.
Most people would not say that, but yes, one could say that. It is a repeated offense of domination. All right. The Hillman, a little bit of miscommunication there. And they lose. They drop another point. Back to an 11-point lead. Say that like it's a small amount, but in reality it is quite substantial, especially when they're at 19. 11-0, different story. 19-8, you got a long way to go. But not a long way for the Hillman, though, as they only need 6 points now.
Berenchin sets up Dye. Cross corner. Sets it up to the other side.
Great shot there by Berenchin.
And Alyssa Jones will check into the game, number 18 for the Hillman, and she will get the serve.
Another first-timer.
.28, the Hillman hope to hold Lancaster in just single digits. But that one finds just on the line.
Thought it was going to be strong, but it was right where you want it. Looking for another one here. The Arrows do have a chance here.
21-8 now. Schumacher high in the air, hits off the beam, and that will not be set over.
Not enough sauce on that hit.
21-9, the Hillman will have to score 4 straight in order to keep Lancaster in single digits.
Yes, that is a difficult feat for most conference teams.
21 on the serve.
Pull it off.
And that'll be a violation.
Yes.
That'll go the Hillman way, 22-9.
Or some type of violation. I can't think of what else there really would be.
Student section riled up. Berenchin, the senior, will serve on what could be the final stretch. Berenchin sets it up high for Richards. Saved and over. Schuler on the top of the net, and that's 4 hits.
That ball was hit up there where there are 3 other balls stuck in the rafters that have yet to come down. I don't believe that's from this year. I think it's from either summer gym or last year even. Those are difficult to get down.
2 look to be volleyballs.
Yes.
A little graveyard, one might say, of gym balls.
Kind of like the over the fence in the Sandlot movies. Lancaster now has a chance to score some points. They give it back to the Hillman, though.
Long rally here. set over, 22-10. A long rally here. Diving play, Richard to Bernchin. And just over, Layla Schuler gets the point for the Hillman.
Does feel like one of the most unreturnable balls is a tip that goes in a random direction. So one off the side of the hand or but usually either side, I guess, when it goes kind of off to the side. Those are very difficult to return. The reaction time is lower than almost any other hit.
And a Lancaster player, number 20, Sophia Grutzmacher, will run into the net.
One more point.
Bringing the Hillman just 1 point away, 24-10.
Single-digit dream is not alive anymore. And Lancaster goes for it all, and they will score. They need to rally off 14 straight points, at least 13 to have a chance. It is a feat to have. That is a very difficult feat. You have to be very perfect, and all it takes is one mistake, and it might happen right here with the Hillman having a chance here. And a tipped ball, and it's going to win the game for the Hillman. 25-11, final score in the third set. 3-0, straight sets for the Hillman. And that was a game.
And the Hillman sweep their very first game match this season, 3-0 against the Lancaster Flying Arrows. The first score, 25-13. Second score, 25-16. Third score, 25-11. Excellent run down by the Hillman. And dominance here in the opening match from the Platteville South Gym. What an excellent way to start the season, Jonah.
It was a very good game from the Hillman. Great conference game, as you mentioned. It's always good to start off hot. We'll see if this rolls right into. I've already forgotten. It's been so long. Who do they play next? You still remember? They got some teams coming
Richland
up.
Center at home next Thursday.
Exactly, and hopefully this success right here, whatever, it'll roll in to that next game.
Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We still have a post-game interview with head coach Denise Bernchin. Following this very dramatic win, we will join us and we will go back courtside with Donner and Tabor.
Yes, but first, she needs to congratulate her team. Give them the post-game pep rally. I don't know why I'm talking to him. He's over there. I'm talking to you guys. Yeah. I hope everyone, I know we're not done yet, but I hope everyone enjoyed this broadcast. I hope we weren't too annoying. If you have the TV muted or your phone or your laptop or your iPad or your Kindle Plus or I don't even know what else you can use, your Xbox, I mean, your PS4. There's so many things you could be watching this on. But if you're on one of those things, though, we appreciate you for listening to our high school broadcast.
Well, sadly, we will not go courtside for the post-game interview, but even better, Miss Bernchin will join us right up here for our post-game interview.
I think I know what that
She will
means.
be here in just a second. The Hillman again winning the first set 25-13, second set 25-16, and final set 25-11. Some absolute dominance out of the the Platteville Hillman defeating the Lancaster Flying Arrows in tonight's opening matchup.
Yes, it was quite dominant. All right, I am going to leave just to make sure there's no confusion. We have a very small doorway.
Change of plans once more, as absolutely no one has any idea what's going on. We're going back courtside with Donner and Tabor.
I'm back.
I apologize.
All right, we got the green. So we're down here at the electric game, 3-0 blowout. Again, it's me, Lucas Tabor. I might be on the wrong side of the screen, though. And we also have
Andrew Donner. after that absolutely insane game, 3-0 by the way. If you got.
Oh, the camera's on.
Can you guys just do my interview for me? Oh, hey.
All right. Hello, everybody. All right. So after that game, Coach, how are you feeling about the season?
I'm really excited. The kids have been working really hard in the off season this year. They were in the weight room a ton, and you can tell when they go out and do the verticals that they're doing that it completely is helping with their play. We're really excited to keep the season going.
Solid.
All right, so we're trying to get this out quick. The one question, with having a lot of freshman starters and varsity starters, does the age gap kind of upset their synergy, or do they all work as well as they should?
Yeah, a lot of these girls have been playing together in the off season, so that helps. And we have a lot of senior leadership that's going to help the young ones as we go on with the season.
All right, we're going to let you go so you can go to your team. Thank you. We're going to cut it back up to the booth.
We join you back in the booth for one last sign-off. Jonah, it was a great day to be back up in the booth. We'll be back shortly. You'll see both of our faces all season long. Make sure you check out the Platteville activities to see all of the upcoming sports events, but make sure to note those volleyball games at home, those football games at home, and eventually those soccer games at home, as you will be getting live, fresh, electrifying commentary. As always, volleyball games from the Jack O'Neill booth.
It's a great day to be a Hillman.
I'm Seth Wilson alongside Jonah Vorwald, signing off.